Detox Warriors, it's me, your coach, Angelique, and I'm super excited that this is the second week. It is the week of tapering, which is a highly important step in this process towards detox. Detox is exactly what you've heard it to be, and that is detoxifying your body from the things that do not serve it. And sugar is, as we know, one of those things. So, tapering this week is going to be highly, highly important that you do so by gently getting off some of your vehicles of sugar and making it so that next week, when you actually begin, you'll have not far to fall. If you're a complete, just total sugar junkie, it's going to be really, really hard if you just like load up on all these sugars and then just start like the next day kind of thing. So I don't want that to happen because that will discourage you from completing the process, first of all, but also that's just really hard on your body. So don't do that. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about real quickly is blood sugar regulation. The whole idea about blood sugar is that it is supposed to be even. So it's supposed to be like this, right? In the past, we're maybe like this, but then we have a dip and we get really, really hungry, right? So we grab something to eat that's pretty quick and then it spikes up. And when it's in that spike, it's first of all, it's not meant to be this high. It's meant to be in the middle. It spikes up. Well, it can't sustain that, so it comes crashing back down again, which is where you get like the crash in the middle of the day, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I need a Snickers, or something like that. Well, you're back down here, you eat that Snickers, you're back up here. And so your blood sugar is constantly doing this. And it's not meant to do that. That's, again, hard on the body. And you can't really effectively function if you are constantly like this, right? We function when we're here. So if we're giving our body the proper nutrition, it's going to sustain here. And it's only going to dip down when you've used up that fuel. So think of yourself as a gas tank, right? And you're feeding, or I guess think of yourself as a car and your gas tank. You give it the fuel. It's like this. You're driving and you use the fuel and you get about here, right? Okay, so this is good. And then we dip down. Oh boy, well now we better gas up, right? So it's that same concept of being totally fueled, using that fuel and then needing to get more fuel. So you don't want to be at a point where you're stopping and starting those blood sugars, because your body will go into a reactive response, and that is one, to store the fat, so because it thinks, oh well, we're constantly going in feast and famine, so I better hold on to this fat as much as I can so that I can use it at some point, right? If I need to flee, or if we have a famine, I can at least support the body. So biochemically speaking, biologically speaking, those are real things that happen in our body. So I'm trying to impress upon you that we don't want to do that. We want to get to a point where we are actually truly fueling our bodies. We are eating because we enjoy it, right? We want to do fun and cool things with food, but we definitely don't want it to turn against us. Okay, food is supposed to work for us and to our satisfaction, but not in a way that it damages our body. Okay, so that's point one. Point two is willpower. That's the other thing I wanted to chat about real quick, because you will find as you're going into the next, well, after this week, but the next 21 days on the detox, that it might be an issue, right? It may or may not. But here's something that I chatted about with a few people already today, is that willpower, realistically speaking, like we shouldn't even have to enact that if we have already made a decision about something. So if we've already decided, well, I'm just not going to have it, I don't want it, when the decision's already made, you never have to even pull up that willpower, not even at all. It's much like if you're trying to do anything, it's that determination. It's like, well, I'm going to complete this, I'm going to run this half marathon. I'm going to, complete this dissertation. I'm going to, plant the flowers in my flower bed this weekend. I mean, you're just hyper focused on getting something done, and you will do any and everything until you get that completed. So again, it's sort of along the same ways. You've decided, I'm not going to eat, sugars for the next 21 days, and I'm okay with that because I'm doing this thing for my body. So I really want you guys to kind of wrap your brain around that. You know, there's nothing weak-willed about wanting to have a cookie or wanting to eat a slice of cake, but for the 21 days, we're going to choose to avoid that because we're trying to reset our palates. Our palates have been just inundated with sugars in so many different forms that it is no longer discerning. And so being able to open ourselves up to the massively reduced amounts of sugar that we are going to not be taking in anymore. But also we're going to be having spices and herbs and other flavor sensations that we haven't probably really appreciated as much because we haven't been tuned into them. When we have something right now, when we have something sweet, it's like we really, really want it to be sweet because we want it to stand out over the other things that we've been eating, so which have sugar in them, and so everything almost tastes the same, and it's just not refined. Again, our palate's not refined. The foods are refined, and we're eating them, and they're not serving us. So in closing, I would like to say that I'm super excited, and I am here for you, and I want you to use the Facebook group, really, really interact, you guys, because again, we are all in this together, and it's very exciting. It's a great time. You're going to just live your best self. So one of my new taglines is, "It's not a fad, it's food." So get excited, live healthy, and I will see you guys in the group.